Hey, welcome y'all. I want to welcome you to the final reading of Divorced Dad's Rules for Raising Relatively Stable Kids, a parenting book by Patrick Talley, available on Amazon.com. Over the last few months, I've been reading a handful of chapters out here in the park in hopes that people get excited enough or touched enough to go buy the book for themselves or someone else. Again, the whole idea behind this is if we can help one of these kids have 10 minutes of a better life, then I think all the better for all of us. Kind of ripples in the pond, if you will. So, kind of the final chapter that I'll read, and if you enjoy it, you can find the audiobook on Amazon, or you can go buy the book on Amazon, or you can sit around and wait for the movie, I guess. So here we go. Divorced Dad's Rule number 15. Give them the big head. It's my contention that the vast majority of the important work as parents is done by the time the kids reach between ages 7 to 9. That's when the foundation is laid. I believe that the best we can do is instill love, a social interest, and if possible, the ability to communicate. These are the gifts we can give our children. Self-love is the utmost of importance. When I look back on all the sins that I've committed against myself and against others, it's easy for me to see that those transgressions are born from a lack of unconditional self-love. This lack of unconditional self-love triggers fear. Fear, F-E-A-R, I believe is the worst of all four-letter words. It drives the unconscious to act, and to act out in defense of itself. And we can deliver in the most reprehensible of behavior. And I assure you I have. Think back to high school, or look at your coworkers, or hell, look in the mirror, huh? And you will see how damaging a lack of unconditional self-love can be. The girls in high school who partied with the football team or were known to be found in the back of any willing boy's car, they were dealing with low self-esteem, lack of unconditional self-love. They were looking for attention or acceptance in whatever means they could find. Trouble was their unconscious actions were self-damning and caused only to increase those feelings of low self-esteem, that lack of self-love, which caused those damning actions to continue. Man, talk about a perpetual motion machine, huh? Look back to the boys in high school with low self-esteem. Those were the yahoos who were acting out their issues in typical aggressive, boorish male behavior. They were the jokes who were continually bullying other boys, or the ones getting it on the back of the cars with the aforementioned girls. They were the ones telling everyone about it afterwards. They were perpetuating their lack of self-love through violent or misogynistic behavior aimed at other people. Perhaps you were one of those jerks. Perhaps you were one of those girls. Whether you were or whether you weren't, it doesn't really matter now. And it certainly doesn't matter to me. For it doesn't matter where you've been, it only matters where you are today and where you're going and what you're doing about it. If you were indeed one of those bullies, then think back to those days and ask yourself if you truly want your daughter to be that girl in the back seat of that car. Or if you want your son to be that kind of boy. I assume not, or else I guess you wouldn't be listening to this video now. So the way to help your kiddos not become that low self-esteem high schooler is to constantly feed their own self-esteem and self-love. All kids really need to know is that they are loved and that there's a safe place for them in this world. I can recall after the millionth time of reinforcing my kiddos' self-esteem and my ex-wife asking me, "Aren't you at all concerned that they will grow up to be cocky or total jerks?" Maybe she was thinking about me, huh? "Hey, look," I'd reply, "the world will do what it can to beat them down. They will have as many or more failures as successes in their lives. The fearful people on the planet will go to excruciating lengths to remind them that they've failed or that they might fail. I want them armed. I want them armed with as much ammo for this fight as I can possibly give them. I believe it will be far easier to tame them down later in life than to try to build them up if they don't have a crazy strong foundation. Although, I doubt that'll be necessary, as we all pretty much end up scarred and doubtful of ourselves anyway. Nope, I don't think we'll have to tame them down. So let's arm them. So I say go ahead. Give them the big head. Make them proud of their every action. Life in the world will keep them in check as time goes by. Social interest is important for kids as they're going to live in this society, right? To grow up without empathy or compassion for others make for a very stilted existence. Teach them about empathy and compassion for others, and couple that with teaching them a healthy dose of discernment. To my mind, the best way to get this message across to your children is not through words, but obviously leading by example. Show them the way to care for other people and care for their fellow man and care about the planet in general. I can remember when Hurricane Katrina knocked the hell out of New Orleans, knocked New Orleans into the last century. My kiddos and my lady loaded up in our SUV, and we went out and we bought every diaper on the shelves. I think we probably went to 3 or 4 different large stores and emptied those shelves. We filled up that SUV and we drove off to the Star of Hope mission to unload. We made a game out of it, tossing those diapers to one another and slam dunking them into the shopping basket. There was nothing serious about this, and no talks about lessons learned or about what we were doing to help others. But I can recall this like it were yesterday. I can recall what my son said as we drove off out of the Star of Hope parking lot. It was a quiet moment, but remember, this is coming from a very quiet boy. That felt good. That's all he said. That felt good. But there was a world spoken in those few words. Teach them by example how to treat others. Believe me, they're watching all the time. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to me rant and ramble over these handful of videos. Thanks for going to Amazon.com and buying this book. Thanks for doing what you can to help out kids. And go do something good in the world, huh? Thank you.